Colby, I'm really sorry I lied to you.
Yeah, Barry.
I just didn't think anyone would want to follow me to New Jersey, let alone Hoboken.
I've been to Hoboken.
It's something to write home about.
No.
What's going on, guys? My name is Barry.
And this is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new month of Who Watches This. And Colby's picked the theme for the month.
Oh, yeah. Well, we kind of I just watched Suicide Squad 2. It's got John Cena in it, and I thought, how many wrestlers have become actors? I mean, obviously The Rock.
Right.
And quite surprising, there's a bunch. So, yeah.
I know, like, Kevin Nash has done stuff.
And you get a lot of, like, the old, like, the wrestling heels end up being, like, biker bad guys and Thug Number One, or like the guy who's in the back of the military platoon that's breaking into a building to kill zombies or something, and then gets killed off, just like as a little cameo. But like looking for like real star power.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Disney helps a lot with that. If you're trying to make the transition from professional wrestling to B movie status, Disney definitely helps you, as long as you star in a couple of family roles.
That is true. And WWE actually has their own film company, and they do a series of movies called Marine Sniper or something like that, and every single one of them has wrestlers in. But since it's owned by WWE, we're opting out of those. Right. That's too easy.
Right. I mean, how many movies can you really watch with Randy Orton? and you think the Disney shtick is funny, but The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin tried. They started a movie career about the same time,
right? But
Stone Cold, the rattlesnake refuses to do family movies, and unfortunately, we know who the bigger star is at this point.
That's true.
I wish like if Stone Cold had just gone to like the straight up dramatic route, it would have been hilarious. But we see him like there's been a couple movies where he has roles in, but they're not big movies. They're not these blockbusters that The Rock has been doing.
Right.
And plus, I feel like Stone Cold, as much as I loved him in the WWF, he's sort of it's really easy to typecast him into a couple roles. Right.
Yes, because he definitely he's the biker in wrestling, so it's really easy just to like pull him off screen or pull him out of the ring and put him on screen as that same role.
Same role, right? So he could be doing that. He could be a neo-Nazi. He could be a Ku Klux Klan. It's really sad, but he has but he also, I think he did a wrestling movie where I was like, I kind of enjoyed that because he wasn't the hard ass. He was sort of like he was the hard ass, but with the heart of gold. Right.
Yes, I tried to omit movies that were like wrestlers in a movie about wrestling.
Yeah.
So
it's too easy too.
I tried to omit that. But when I was looking through the list, I actually realized we have already used a couple of these wrestlers because in Danny Trejo month. We did Stone Cold and Danny Trejo in a movie together. And then we also did the Chaperone
with Triple H.
Triple H.
Unfortunately, you guys aren't going to... I don't think you guys are going to be able to see Ready to Rumble with David Arquette in this in this month because it's WCW, first of all. But no, today we're going to be talking about 2017's Bushwick, starring Dave Bautista and Brittney Snow.
Yes.
And so before we get into the movie, we have the new segment for you guys where I rattle off a movie trailer voice to kind of explain the movie.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Ready to feel good about yourself? Well, don't. Because there's an invasion happening in Bushwick, and attacks are coming from all over. Who do we trust? Who do we follow? Who do we kill? In this indie flick about a possible terrorist attack starring Drax from Guardians and that one girl who cornered Anna Kendrick butt naked in Pitch Perfect. Who watches this? 2017 indie film Bushwick. I'm trying to perfect my radio voice, guys. You know,
You got it. You're getting better every week. This is small improvement.
no, it's funny because recently I just watched that one prank call video where the guy prank calls his wife. He tells this radio station to tell his wife about SummerSlam and John Cena. Have you seen that video?
No.
Oh, I got to show it to you after the episode. But they call her like 4 times, you know, but they keep setting her up. He's all like, "Hey, I'm sorry, ma'am. Is Champ there? There's no Champ here." Well, there will be on SummerSlam with John Cena.
I have heard that. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
But yeah, today we're gonna be talking about 2017's indie flick with Bushwick with Dave Bautista and Brittney Snow. And what I was like, is that Brittney Snow? But it kind of looked like she changed a little bit, or maybe she just didn't try for this because I couldn't recognize her.
So she wasn't the original person for that role,
okay.
By the time they got to filming, there was some kind of filming
like a scheduling
conflict, and so they released her and brought Brittney Snow in.
Yeah, Brittney Snow surprisingly does a lot of like these small indie films.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, you said Pitch Perfect. That was where I recognized her from.
Right, the most. I mean, she's done a horror film that I actually like. Well, it wasn't horror, but more of a thriller. It was called Would You Rather. It's where she gets invited to a dinner party and then they play a deadly game of Would You Rather.
Oh, I was actually looking at that just recently. I have not seen it, but
yeah, I remember I Redboxed that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not too bad. And you know, Dave Bautista, you know, obviously his biggest claim to fame as of late is the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Right.
But you know, he's done a lot of other smaller films. Like he did that Uber film with the Indian guy from The Immortals, and all that stuff. So it's nice. It's so weird. I don't know where to place Dave Bautista in as far as being an actor.
Right, because kind of like we said, like he definitely could fill that role of background thug.
Yeah,
like he's like the side, like the right hand man to the main bad guy kind of thing.
He's like the mini boss.
Yeah, like he could fit that role really well and then just get typecast in there.
Yeah.
But I love that he's gotten the opportunity to branch out a little bit because
it's that Disney clout.
Yeah, because he's showed some heart in this. I really was.
Yeah, he gets some dramatic notes in here. You know, but like as of late, what I've seen him in is more comedy, which he's kind of good for it as well. Because you know, it's funny because when you look at him, he has sort of this hard exterior, but then I'm pretty sure people, he's such a big goofball. I wanna hope that he used to be fat, and that's where that comes from. But no, let's get into talking about this movie. It's a little hard to really pinpoint this down because this movie is an hour and 30 minutes and it's an hour and 20 minutes of straight action.
Right.
So the plot is very bare.
It is. Like it's literally like you took a big movie and then you cut 10 minutes out of it and said, let's extend this 10 minutes so you watch every second of what happens to them.
Oh, that's actually a perfect way to really describe this. This movie is is all climax, but no orgasm. No, just kidding. No, this movie has a lot of surprising notes that it hits towards the end, which it's a very, I guess what you would say, like a nihilistic look at how this movie was going to turn out.
Right.
Right. But the first thing that happens in this movie is that we actually get introduced to Brittney Snow and her college boyfriend.
Yep.
She's come back from Bushwick to visit her grandma because they're on holiday, and obviously she wants to introduce her boyfriend or fiance,
right, to the family.
To the family, right? Because she's going to Bushwick, that's where she's from. She's visiting her grandma, and her sister lives down the street as well.
Yep.
And so it looks like it's very it looks like just like a normal day in Brooklyn, and gentrified Brooklyn at this point. You know, but the strange thing, if you've ever been to New York, is they're in this train station and it's completely empty.
Right, get off the subway and there's no one around. That's very bizarre.
Yeah, like I used to live in New York, and if I had stepped out of a train and then into an empty platform, I think I just transported myself into another world.
Right.
Because there's no way any station in Brooklyn midday, which you don't know yet, but you know you find out it is midday, that it's ever gonna be empty at all.
Yep.
And Bushwick, if you guys don't know, is one of the more that area would be more on the main line of New York City, I believe. You know, I think if you're going from Manhattan to Brooklyn, there's like a train, I think it's called the F train, where it goes all the way down to Coney Island, but you hit all of like the major stops in Brooklyn before you get to the end of the line. And so Bushwick is a more busier station, so it takes her a while to process that there's no one there.
Right. And boyfriend's never been there.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, who cares?
Maybe it's busy.
Yeah.
Or like maybe it's just dead. Stupidest thing ever said. But no, and so they make their way out of the train station, and outside it sounds kind of like a battlefield.
Right.
Right? We hear gunshots going, we hear explosions going off, and so the boyfriend's like, you know, he does the right thing. He's like, stay right here, let me go check what's happening outside.
Yep.
And the very moment he steps outside, I thought the dude was blown to bits, but he comes back into the station. He's all bloodied, and Brittney Snow's character is like, "Oh my gosh! All right, I gotta go." But I mean, really, at that point, I think it was easy to see that the dude was a goner.
Yeah. Yeah.
That explosion was way too close to him. He's done for. So she starts to book it for her grandma's house. But as she's strolling through the streets of Bushwick, she sees like people in riot gear, and then she sees other people running away, and
people are getting shot. There's she sees a sniper like up on the roof shooting people. She could start to see smoke and stuff like over the buildings out in the distance.
Yeah, so it's looking pretty dire for her, and then she gets caught by somebody in riot gear. And she's being pinned down.
Yep. And
she's about to get zip tied up.
Right.
Until a car just comes out of nowhere and
looks like some gangbangers.
Right. Pretty much.
Doing
right?
a drive by.
Yeah, and so she starts to escape, and then she's, I believe, just trying to go through buildings, and one building that she's trying, there's one alleyway that she's trying to go through, but she sees two people gun down another person.
Yep.
And then so she makes a run for it. She hides in this basement apartment or janitor station with a bed in it. She gets caught, and they're about to assault her.
Yeah.
Until Dave Bautista at SummerSlam
throw some wicked elbows.
Yeah. No, he dispatches these two guys real quick. I believe he kills them.
I believe he kills one and knocks one out.
Yeah. But yeah, he does some damage, and she tries to get some information out of Dave Bautista. She's like, what's going on? Dave's like...
And he knows minimal. Like, he's had, like, the radio on, but he's just like, it's like...
static almost.
Yeah, he's a martial law. They're, like, just telling people to stay in their apartments, and... But yeah, he's like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
I'm going to Hoboken.
Yeah. He tells Brittney, son, I gotta go to Hoboken. That's where my wife and my kid are. And he's trying to dissuade this girl from following her. But, you know, she's a small little college girl. She's not gonna be able to survive in this battlefield, right?
Right.
And it kind of, when you get a look at Dave Bautista and where he's living in, I was like, it kind of makes you think he might be prior military just because of all the gear he has around, and he has guns.
Yeah. But at this time, he tells her that he's just a janitor.
Yeah. Hey, no, there's no way. If I see Dave Bautista sweeping up like with a mob, it's like, that guy is prior military. Look at that guy's big for no reason. But no, she ends up following him, and then he ends up helping her along the way. She's like, please, can you just drop me off at my grandma's house? You know, and then you can go on your merry way. And he's like, no. But then, you know, she just follows him.
Right. She follows him. They run into some more thugs in the street. No, like more riot gear people in the street.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of forced to travel together for a few blocks. And then at that point, they're close enough to
her
grandma's house that he's just like, okay, let's go in.
Yeah. So a lot of this movie.
Oh, but then is a school?
Oh wait, no. So first they first go to the bodega, you know, the little corner store. She's like, we can stop by there as a checkpoint. And when they go there, we see some thugs in there, and they're robbing the place. The guy's all like, take everything, it's free. I was like, man, you know what? No matter what dire consequences are happening, there's always people out there trying to loot. And then I'm like, if you're gonna loot, why would you go to a bodega where everything costs like $3-4?
Right.
Like, go to a gun store.
World's ending. I'm gonna take me a lifetime supply of Kit Kats
and some Slim Jims. Never do a Slim Jim. No, and then we find out that the guy who owns the bodega gets shot. But you know, Dave Bautista's like, we got to get out of here. And so they keep moving. And they go to the school. They're trying to like maneuver through the school to get a vantage point.
Right. Yo, yeah, because she's like, I grew up here. We can hide in this school. I know how to get to the roof. And he's like, oh, okay, that way we could see like what's really going on. Maybe we can make some sense out of the little bits and pieces we hear on the radio as we walk past different stores and stuff.
Yeah, but you know, as they're going through the school, Dave Bautista gets hurt with an explosion because one of the riot gear guys has a grenade.
Oh yeah.
But he gets like this huge piece of glass stuck. So when they get to the roof, you know, this is where we learn that Dave Bautista was a medic in the Marines.
Yeah.
Well, he says coroner, but then later he says medic. So, you know, and he's like telling Brittney Snow, he's like, you have to help me. And, you know, she's really ungrateful. There's a couple things that are happening in this situation where I'm like, you need to buck up and do this. You know, you strap your boots because shit is real out here, Brittney Snow.
But like, it's a realistic reaction. Like when he's like, here, you got to help me cauterize this wound. She's like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. But then he's also like your muscle.
Right.
You know, so strap them boots. Cause no, the offhanded comment where she's like, it stinks. I'm leaving you here. All right, I don't need to hear this right now. That my burnt skin stinks. Yeah, of course it's gonna stink.
Yep.
You twat. It's gonna... no, but they make their way out of this situation. They actually get to the grandma's house.
Yep.
Right, and then you know Dave Bautista is doing what you know a military guy I was supposed would do. He's trying to clear the room, but then Brittney Snow just automatically goes upstairs. I was like, Brittney Snow, what if there's people up there? You got to clear these rooms.
Yeah.
But, you know, before they get in there, they see that there's military people breaking into homes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. They see that it's the military's going from house to house.
Yeah, trying to get out some stragglers. And so, but Brittney Snow, thankfully, there's no one upstairs. She gets upstairs, but sees her grandma, like, dead on the floor.
Dead.
She says that grandma had a weak heart, so probably when all of this started, she got a heart attack. She was startled.
Right.
You know? And so, you know, Dave Bautista does the right thing. He puts her in the bed at least. to make her look
the
as
gentleman
peaceful.
thing to do. Yep.
Yeah. They cover up, but then a bunch of SWAT people come in, but they escape.
Yep.
They Metal Gear their way out of there with minimal contact with any SWAT people.
I use one of those familiarity to the location. They know where the back door is and
they got home
how
court
to
advantage.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
No.
They do the little sneaky sneak.
Yeah, a lot of this film, in my mind, I had nothing but the Metal Gear music going on. No, but at this point, Brittney Snow, again, selfishly asked Dave Bautista, "We got to go to my sister's house now."
Right.
Which, I mean, I get it, right? But, but she's pretty adamant to the point where she splits off.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. She's just like, no, I gotta go, and he's like, okay, later.
Yeah. She's
and
like,
then
no, I'm not leaving without my sister.
Yeah.
And he's like, damn it, Lucy.
Yeah. Yep.
And so he follows Brittney Snow all the way to his sister's house. A sister is totally out of it. She's high.
Yeah.
As good.
Hi, she's got her headphones on, music blasting, and they're like, what are you doing? We got to get out of here. And she's like, I'm so tired because the neighbor's been playing
Call of Duty
so loud all night. It's kept me up.
Which is like hilarious because it's very plausible, right?
Right.
In times of peace, you don't know when a crisis is happening until it's happening, and even then you might put yourself in this state of denial where you're trying to reason like, it's just, their speaker system must be wild because I could hear the Call of Duty from here.
Yeah, you think about it like, hey, it could be like 2 weeks before 4th of July and somebody next door could get shot, and I'm like, oh damn it, somebody's lighting off fireworks already.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy, right? But Brittney Snow's like, she's gathering some things, and then in this time, the sister, who I think is Belinda, she's like, "Don't try to fuck my sister." I was like, "Whoa, you're coming off real hot right now."
Because she is not realizing the state of the world, and they don't do a good job explaining it. And when they try to, she just lights up her bong and takes another hit. And
she's like, "This is melting my brain right now." No, and then she tries to fuck Dave Bautista. She unrobes herself. She's like, "What you think about that?" And then Dave Bautista's like, "It's a cat." I was like, "I'm sorry, is Dave Bautista a Forrest Gump at this moment?" She's like, "Yeah, I love soldiers. You want to fuck?" Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
But all that comes crashing down because a guy in riot gear crawls through the window.
Right, because this is this apartment complex has got the buzz-in thing, so it's pretty well locked up in the front. So
yeah, but then every New York apartment has like the fire escape thing.
Yep.
So he climbs up that. Dave Bautista is actually finally able to interrogate somebody.
Right. Yeah.
Find out what's going on.
He gives the guy a quick ass whooping, and then
he breaks his arm.
Yep. And then pulls off his mask, and when it's like, oh, skinny white dude.
Oh no, it's a Chad.
I was, expecting this to be,
like a terrorist attack.
Right.
We don't know what's under these ski masks, right? Because obviously the American military wouldn't do this so abruptly.
Right.
Right. And so we were expecting anybody else, not Chad from Plano, Texas. Because as he starts to interrogate him, we finally get an explanation of what's going on. Texas has finally decided to, how do you say that word? Secede from the United States, and they have garnered the support of Florida, North and South Carolina,
Arkansas, Kentucky, and part of Maryland.
Yeah, parts of Pennsylvania and Maine, I believe.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, great. All the states that don't really matter. Listen,
I'm definitely the division of red and blue.
Yeah. Listen, I never heard anyone clamoring about going to Arkansas. I'm just being real. Sorry, guys.
We haven't been there. So for our Arkansas listeners, it's probably a beautiful place.
Sure. I know, like, if this gets you guys to listen, like, oh my god, you guys have to hear what Who Watches is said about Arkansas. Those guys are bastards. Like, no, I'm pretty sure the food's great. I've seen plenty of food things, right? The food's really good, right?
Yeah.
But obviously,
and you can eat it with just one tooth.
and no one's living past like 50, whatever. Well, what's cholesterol? That's just a myth. No, but we find out that this is actually, like, Belinda says it pretty well. She's like, is this a civil war? And it kind of is, right? It's just, but it's just states trying to gain their own, sovereignty, I guess?
Yeah.
Becoming a separate entity from the United States.
Right, yeah, you damn liberals.
And their whole idea is they're going to target multiple cities that they could hold hostage so that the government can listen to them.
Right. And then they kind of like hit the pointed parts in there where it's like, why Bushwick? And it's like, well, because of gender diversification. We didn't think that people here would basically be smart enough or organized enough to be able to stop us. Right. And we didn't think you guys would have guns because they're illegal here.
That's the dumbest thing that you can think of, bro. You don't want to hit any of these areas where, like, they're kind of below the poverty line or at the... Those are where the guns are the strong.
Right. Yep.
Like, listen, I'm coming from, like, I've lived in several hoods, like, and I'm not saying that's a normal thing, but, you gotta make money how you gotta make money, and unfortunately, guns and all that stuff kind of come with the territory.
Right.
And this is me
or you have to protect your money.
Yeah, you don't, or yourself, just yourself, right? Yep. And this is me coming, like, I've lived near hoods in LA that I've definitely have happened to have witnessed some of this violence. So definitely these aren't the places you want to hit. You want to hit places like Bel Air. where the what's it called, like, the class is much higher, you'll get less resistance hitting like Bel Air. What's another rich area? San Francisco, like the tech area, not like downtown San Francisco. There's a lot of meth heads over.
Right. Yep.
Seattle. Those places you probably would have gotten away with it with very little resistance.
Yeah.
Idaho. No, Idaho. I think they like to hunt, so don't go there.
Right. Yeah, you'd have lots of trouble in Wyoming.
Oh, Montana.
Wyoming would probably quickly join with Texas, I feel.
Montana too. No, yeah, definitely you want to hit a lot of, like, these posh places. Let's go with that, right?
Right.
Like, like Manhattan. Should have went for Manhattan. Like the stock exchange area.
It's true.
Great place.
It's true.
All right, just to let you guys know, we are not up for... we are not... I'm just saying, there's a lot of smarter places, but we do not condone actions of violence or anything like that. But no, and so they finally... at least at this point in time, they finally have a grasp of the situation.
Yeah.
Right, and
they learn from this guy that there is a demilitarized zone in the Central Park, where this was not supposed to go as violently as it was. It was supposed to basically, like, they walk in with their guns, push everybody into the park, and have the military evacuate them, and then they could just own the city.
Yeah.
And they didn't really expect the people of the city to fight for their location.
Yeah, listen, like, if a rapper has ever named a location, that's not really the location that you want to try to take out, There's definitely been times where Notorious B.I.G. has talked about Bushwick.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially New York. New York has a strong community ties.
Right. Right. We all watched Spider-Man. They joined together on the subway to help protect him.
Right. And not talk about who he is.
Right.
Best, one of the best scenes in Spider-Man history. Spider-Man 2, best movie. But no, and so they finally have a plan, an action to go for, right? So Dave Bautista gathers Melinda and Brittney Snow. They're like, we're gonna head for this DMZ so we can get out of here. But as they're trying to get to the DMZ, they stop into a building where there's gang members interrogating one of the ski masks or one of the terrorists, homegrown terrorists, right? And they forced Dave Bautista and Brittney Snow to go to the church because they had heard there's 30 to 40 people over there, and that's enough people to kind of push through this barricade.
Yeah, because there's a line of the insurgents that they have to get through to get to the demilitarized zone.
Right.
And it's like the gangbangers are like, we've got guns, but there's only a few of us. And then like the church group is like, we're ready to fight, but we don't have any weapons because what are you going to use as a weapon in church? So they're like, hey, you
water.
go get them, bring them to the laundromat. We'll all meet up there. We can do the exchange. We can work as a team.
Yeah,
but
because they hold Brittney Snow's sister as hostage.
Right, because they're like, white girl, you need to go do this for us because
they'll listen to
as gangbangers, we walk into the church, they're just gonna,
Yeah, they're gonna say no. But so Brittney Snow and Dave Bautista go to the church. They try to talk to Father John. Father John, for some reason, commits suicide. I didn't get that because as someone who's grown up as a Catholic, the head of the parish is not gonna commit suicide. To become a priest is actually a pretty like a rigorous task,
right?
And grief counseling and able to handle like situations is a part of that curriculum that they have to go through.
It was a little, it was like a little confusing. Yes, because like if it was zombies, then you could be like the underworld is rising and I can't be part of this. Boom, let's kill myself because my faith isn't strong enough to fight that or something,
I still don't think a priest would ever kill themselves, really, unless it was like more of a mental battle with like mental health. Right. Situations they have to, and this is like I'm coming from a place where like I had to grow up like with a pretty Catholic aunt and uncle who I was living with.
Right.
And I got what's it called? The two things that I had to do, the communion and the confirmation.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I had to like learn about it all, right? And so I always ask questions, which they don't like, by the way. But yeah, and so like, in any other form, like I could never. It was such a wild idea to me that this priest would kill himself, but he does.
Yeah.
Right. And so Brittney Snow goes up. She's like, we're going to fight. We got guns. So we got to go to the laundromat. And so, but, they start to leave. And Brittney Snow's kind of yelling at Dave Bautista as he's trying to stitch somebody up.
Yep.
And Dave Bautista at this point his patience is being tested with Brittney Snow because Brittney Snow's like, move, move, move. And I don't think she's understanding that Dave Bautista is kind of beat up.
Right, yeah, because it was a big piece of glass that went through both sides of his leg.
Which, cauterizing a wound is no easy task.
Right, and
both sides.
And he's made reference that in the military he was medic, so as there's like children that are hurt, he's stitching them up rather than running from the church.
Yeah. And so, obviously, there's a lot of things that's going through. What you have to understand for Dave Bautista is he was a medic and he was so tired of death, but he wants to save as many people as he can. Right. Because he doesn't want to have like the guilty conscience on his shoulder. But, they have to move because now the church is being attacked, which I also don't expect from Texans. From the God-fearing part of the United States, for them to go into a church, right, on holy ground.
I don't know. It's probably like a Methodist church or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what the big religion in. I'm not gonna know it's
Baptist church. I don't know.
Baptist. I thought no, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
but like kind of Methodist. I don't know.
Lutheran. We don't know all the branches of religion, right? But yeah, no, it was super surprised. But they go to the laundromat and Dave Bautista finally yells at Brittney Snow like, "You gotta wait a damn minute." You know?
Yeah.
But they sit down, they calm down for a second, and this is where we learn that Dave Bautista's wife and kid were actually...
he kind of has a little breakdown, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, I lied to you. I'm not going to Hoboken. I just said that because nobody wants to go to Hoboken, so I figured you would leave me alone."
And yeah, we get the sweet moment from Dave Bautista where he explains like, yeah, you know, my wife and me used to get into heated arguments, and you know, she would call me an asshole, but then she would grab my face, and he's like, "But you're my asshole."
Right.
But then we also do learn that his wife and his child were caught up in the 9/11, and
Yep.
that's where they had died. This is when he had signed up for the military, but then he got tired of seeing death.
So he went into the medical side.
Ray tried to save as many people, but then he just couldn't handle it anymore, so he
Yeah.
came back home, and he just wanted to be invisible until all of this happened.
So that's when he became a janitor. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he's like, "Oh, I have to pee," which is, you know, pretty valid. I haven't seen the guy take one restroom break. Probably had a heavy breakfast, you know. But then we hear a gunshot, and then we're like, "Oh my gosh, who did he kill?" But then we see Dave Bautista on the floor,
Yeah.
dead, from a girl who was hiding in the bathroom. Brittney Snow starts to trip out, and she's trying to wake him up, but you know, he's dead. Which was a surprising twist to me. I was like, "Oh my god, Dave Bautista died!"
Right.
And then the gang members come in with the sister. Like, "We held up our end of the deal. Here's your sister. We gotta go.
Right.
We gotta hit this DMZ zone and get the hell out of here." And Brittney Snow was like, at first, like, "No, try to help me with Dave Bautista," but you know, it's very clear that he's dead.
Yep.
And so they head for the DMZ, and Brittney Snow is taking charge for her sister. They're making it through the barricades. You know, they're slowly but surely getting through there, and they see the finish line.
Yeah. So close.
But Belinda gets, I think she gets shot in the leg, and so Brittney Snow goes back for her sister with the riot shield or whatever,
Yep.
the bulletproof shield that they have. But as she's trying to drag her sister, she gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
And Belinda obviously is crying out because she's seen her sister die in front of her eyes. But other people pick up Belinda, and they make it to the other side. They get into the chopper, and the movie just ends. So don't feel good. I don't feel good about this movie.
Right.
All right, Kobe, before we get to talking about specifics of the movie, let's do our other segment, Low Star, High Star. So, Kobe, if you want to go ahead.
We doing the top one there?
Yeah.
So this is a 5-star review from Rex. "I should have bought it instead of renting it. For the heartlessness in all of us, there's a movie that could leave you wanting more and needing less. Bautista plays the role well. PTSD is real. I watched it twice in 2 days. I wanted to watch it a third time, but my rental time was up. Great movie from a war vet who knows New York and would have more tough time standing up than the movie portrayed. I still loved it."
Man, that guy is a glutton for punishment, because this movie is this ending was very European. It's very art housey because both of our main characters died.
Right?
All right, I'm gonna go for our 1 star, and it's a pretty long one, guys. So strap your boots. 1 star from Mike. Worthless and unrealistic. Wow, that's pretty harsh. All right, this is a corny video with horrible acting. It could be used as a guide of what not to do. Don't bother renting it. It's 2 hours of, which is a lie. It's an hour and a half of, and you will never get that back. Texas secedes from the Union, and for some unknown reason, they attack Bushwick. No, they explained why they attacked Bushwick.
Right.
You're just not paying attention, Mike. The two main characters try to reach the DMZ 5 blocks away and die right before they make it, leaving one of their drug-addicted sisters to safety. All right, I feel like you're coming at this with a much more personal attack, right? The male character claims to be a medic in the Marine Corps. Problem is, the Marines don't have medics. They use Navy corpsmen as medics, but are never referred to as medics. He, the Marine, has no sense of awareness and would be the worst Marine ever. The female character is just plain stupid, and I'm surprised it took so long to kill her off. Clearly, they needed a military consultant, but could not afford one. The thing I found most odd was during the whole movie, every time the bad guy was killed, no one picked up their long guns to use as defense. They just left them on the ground. All other civilians did the same and were all carrying pistols, shotguns, and hunting rifles. The bad guys had fully automatic weapons, were just left on the ground. Maybe this is how stupid people react during a crisis. I don't know. Oh, Mike, I think you do now. I'm a Marine and found this insulting at best. If you must watch it, rent the SD version so you won't be mad at yourself later. Well, you know, I think he did have at least a couple valid points.
I feel like Mike is from Texas.
He's all like, listen, if Texas did it, we'd do it a lot better. Oh, no, Kobe, what are some of the parts that you want to talk about with this film?
Well, first of all, I loved the way this was filmed. Like, it is legitimately, I'm like, you could see the cuts, but it is filmed in a way where it's 4 long cuts. The only time that you see that it's a cut is when a major character dies, because it cuts to their face, to the other person's face's reaction, and then the camera picks up from there and then follows that person around. But
yeah, you're right.
But yeah, but it is, I mean, it's really like kind of done as like a one long cut kind of movie, except for those like the 3 deaths. You get a definite cut to the facial reaction of the person with them.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing I was really glad as I was watching this movie, I was like, thank God this movie isn't shaky cam.
Right. Oh, yes. Yeah, they could have done this Blair Witch style or
Cloverfield
style. It would have been rough to watch it all shaky.
Yeah. Because definitely, like, obviously shaky cam is a really cheap way of filming a movie. It's not like cheap in the sense of like the style or like the effort put into it is cheap. It's just what's in the budget.
Right.
Is doing it handheld. I'm really glad that they didn't, because then this movie would have been really hard to watch, as I have really bad motion sickness.
But right. I remember there's another movie we've done where I remember you having.
Yeah. And like, you know, it's not for like, it's for a lot of movies. I think like the Paranormal Activity 3 one. That one gave me like motion sickness, so I'm really glad that this movie, as far as like the way it was shot, was really well done.
Yeah.
I do have, like one of my biggest complaints was the Brittney Snow character. But then again, I thought about it. I was like, you know what? She would be like that. Because like she's very inconsiderate of Dave Bautista's physical condition.
Right.
Yeah, she's like, we gotta move. It's like, yo, try having a huge piece of glass pierce your body.
Yeah.
And then having to cauterize it, and Dave Bautista's having to walk throughout the city, sneaking. First of all, like, you know, walking while you're crouched down is hard. It's so hard, right? And not only that, like, he didn't pass out during like getting cauterized, which is like always like pretty badass, like with the way you see it in films,
right?
But man, I'm telling you, if I had to cauterize a wound, I'm passing out. Like, we got to get to a safe zone before we do this, because I need a good nap.
Yeah, go ahead and put me under.
Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure, like, during that situation isn't, like, a possibility. But, yeah, you definitely want to be put under.
Right, yeah.
What about the action scenes? How'd you feel about the action scenes?
I liked them. I thought this, I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, it is low budget. So, I appreciate a movie that does a lot with a little. And that's how I felt. Like this whole movie, I felt they did a ton of work with
what little money they had. Yeah, because they definitely could have sci-fi'd it up with terrible explosions.
Right.
Which they had one. And I'm like, you know what? That's a pass because you didn't do it throughout the movie.
Right.
And I like a little bit, I like the consistency that they did because we do have one shot that's a drone shot. And, you know, we've definitely had movies, Arachnoquake, that's done drone shots, but then the rest of the city is fine. But in this one, you know, the rest of the city, it's not as bad. But you know, we get the smoke, we get the fires. One of my favorite parts is you see a subway that's still running, but the front of the subway station or the front cart of the subway is burning. So I was like, oh, okay. You know, they made sure to cover a good amount of their bases.
Right. Yep. When they capture the one guy, he makes reference to that he didn't feel like the city was going to fight back like it did. And then as they leave there, as they're leaving, you pan past a group of Hasidic Jews with their little yarmulkes and their little curls, and they've all got guns, and they're like beating the hell out of like the terrorists. And it to me, that like scene brought it all together. Like, yes, that's the heart of the city. Like, these are the people who live there, and they're like, this is where I live. I fight for my home. Yeah, I hate you and I hate you, but
we need to come together.
It's the whole like I'm gonna beat the hell out of my brother every day, but I'm the only one who can beat him. Because anybody else messes with my brother, I'm kicking their ass. You know?
Yeah. It's nice too because as far as what I remember from the last time I was in Brooklyn, they do have a pretty strong Jewish community. Mm-hmm. Like where I was staying, my cousin she had worked at a hospital where it was sort of the heart of the Jewish community. And you know, I always thought it was cool to see those like Hasidic Jews with the curly hair on the side. I was like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of fresh. You know, only they could pull that off. You know, I can't do that. So it's nice. Like, this movie is pretty well diverse in its actual cast, and you have a good amount of like what the representation of what Bushwick would look like. You have Hasidic Jews. You have black people. You have Asian people.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm really glad that as a film, it was pretty diverse in its even in its background cast.
Yeah.
You know, the bodega guy is run by is a Middle Eastern person, which is pretty strong. You know, because I was like, man, I wish I could go in there and order a chopped cheese right now. Man, I miss chopped cheese, guys. Do you know what a chopped cheese is, Kobe?
I don't.
It's so like it's like. You can't say this, right? If you go to New York and be like, yo, can I get... It's like a Philly cheesesteak. Don't say that there because it's not a Philly cheesesteak. It's a chopped cheese.
Right, because you're not in Philly.
Right?
Yeah,
but
got it.
But it's like you take hamburger meat. So it's like, it's almost... It's on a... What's it called? Like a baguette. It's not a baguette.
Like a hoagie kind of?
Like a hoagie, right? But then they take the hamburger patty and then they chop it, put the cheese on top, and then... So it's like a really cheap food... But it fills you up, and it's a pretty much a burger on a hoagie. But then they chop it up. It's delicious.
I could eat one of those right now.
Oh man, but yeah, this movie is if you're looking for a movie that's sort of just action packed, this is definitely it. The plot is pretty thin,
right? Yeah, kind of like I said, like it's they took a little chunk out of a They were like, hey, we're going to make this movie about Texas seceding from the United States. And then they were like, you know what? We're just going to take this little, 2-hour segment of that, and we're going to show the entire 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to follow Bautista for 2 hours during this secession of the Union.
Is that what they're called? No, the Union is like America as a whole, right?
Right.
I forgot what the South was called back then. The Confederate?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
The Confederacy. Yeah. You know, guys, it's too late. Like, just accept it. Like, why would you wait, 100+ years to attempt this, you know? Like, I feel like if you're going to do that, you have to do that, like, a year after. Like, we're going to try again, you know? Because I think at this point, you know, obviously the United States are going to call in the Coast Guard, National Guard.
Right.
You know, to deploy out and kind of squat this because... You know, like, yeah, your guns are bigger, but I think as a nation as a whole, their guns are bigger.
Right, but it's one of those things like you don't expect Texas to invade, so Texas could just ride right up into your doorstep, and then they're already pounding on your door before, you know, your cop friends 2 blocks away, you know, knows what's going on. And it's already over before you realize.
Colby, the only thing I don't expect is the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh man, yeah, definitely, yeah, because it is what I think I've heard from Criminal Minds call it a homegrown terrorist at this point, right?
Right.
You know, yeah, obviously, yeah, the response time would be a lot slower. Because they're given more time because they can kind of sneak this operation in. They can put sleeper agents in a whole bunch of cities to all activate all at once,
right?
And do it, right?
Yeah.
But I think after like the first 2-3 hours, the response would be swift on the American side. Right?
Exactly, but we're only watching the first 2 hours.
Right. Oh yeah. 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 But I just feel like this definitely would have gotten squashed. And, you know, I would have been like, if I was the president, I'd be like, don't make me bomb Texas.
Well, you got Texas is major military. So, like, your fringe states like that probably have more military power in them than the mid of the country because you know, like, hey, if Mexico decides to invade, if Cuba decides to up their missiles, we want our states closest to that strong.
Yeah.
And then like, who's gonna hit like
Idaho?
Yeah. right. You get up to like the Dakotas, like you're pretty safe. Canada's not coming down.
Yeah. But you know, it would have been really funny if I was the president at that moment. I would have been like, I would have called up Cuba, like, fuck you, Cuba. What are you gonna do? Bomb Texas? It's like 2 birds, 1 stone.
A little reverse psychology.
Right, get another country to deal with our problems. Oh no, but definitely the twist of finding out that this is actually the invasion is happening because of Texas succeeding.
Yeah,
from the Union. What was a nice little surprise having Brittney Murphy and Dave Bautista die at the end. Was a pretty hard pill to swallow. Like, no, not Dave Bautista. Not Brittany Snow. They're about to get together with this 15-year age gap. He was gonna finally find love in Brittany Snow. You know, you like, for some reason in any kind of movie, you kind of just start to pair people off.
Right. Yep.
You know, and through trauma, these two would find each other. Like Brittany Snow's like, oh, Dave Bautista he's so reliable. He's like a mountain, my rock. And Dave Bautista's like, I need to find a new hole to put it in. In a second year post grad.
We just changed the whole theme of this movie a lot.
I know, in my mind, that's what was going on. And then when they died, I was like, oh no. Oh man. But yeah, we're coming up to our hour. So thank you guys. If this is the first time you guys are joining us, we always welcome new listeners. But if this is the first time you guys are joining us, we do our reviews in 4 sections. We have Stream It, DVD It, Blu-ray It, and the Ultimate Bautista Collection. But Kobe, where are you at?
I really liked this movie. This is actually the 3rd time I've seen this movie.
This is the 3rd time you've seen this movie?
The first time it was like what is that? Dave Bautista's in that? He's a wrestler. I'm going to watch that. And that was a few years ago. And I watched it and I was like extremely surprised how much I enjoyed a movie I'd never heard of. That happens a lot on this show. And then like a couple weeks later, I watched it again because I was like, was that all one cut? Like, was it really? And so I had to watch it again to see. And then so like this movie just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Pretty strong when we were talking about the wrestling theme. So I was like, oh yeah,
actors.
We got to do this. And then,
oh man. So Colby, where you at then?
I would probably Blu-ray this. I really like, to me, this movie was definitely, like I said 3 times, rewatchable. This is the kind of movie I'd like to share with people.
You're like, hey, how was your day? Oh, it's pretty bad. All right, let's make it worse. So you can go to sleep really depressed.
I feel more like this movie ends and I'm like hyped up, not depressed. Not that I'm like, yes, finally they killed him. But it's like,
yes, they finally killed Brittney Snow.
Right. Like, to me, like, then I think maybe by the end of the movie, the city as a whole is the main character and they win.
Okay. So that's how you saw it.
Yeah.
Which I get if you especially because you watched it 3 times. The first time is it's shocking because of the 2 main characters dying.
Right.
And that's why I feel so depressed about it. But if I get like you said, and like how I would view it is like, yeah, definitely New York. Any New York neighborhood won't allow you to overtake it so easily.
Right.
Like those buildings are packed with people, and I would like to guess 20% of them has a gun. Someone definitely checked out the library gun. You've heard about those, right? Like library guns?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely that's getting checked out and you're getting popped. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, if I watch it again, that's actually how I would also view it as well. As it's nice to see, like, no one anywhere is gonna let you take their home easily.
Right.
And so, I guess in a dark way, it's nice to see a community come together.
Yeah. Yep.
Because especially by the end too, where you see the gangbangers and you see the church people all work together for one singular goal, it was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
In a dark way.
Right.
Oh man. So you go Blu-ray?
I think I would go Blu-ray on this.
Yeah, I think for me, the movie's okay for me. I did like the action. I did like that there was no shaky cam where it could have easily been shaky cam. Dave Bautista, I gotta support Filipinos, stick together. Filipino Greeks. And I was kind of sad. I was like, man, is that how I would look like if the Greeks invaded instead of the Spanish? But I think I would go DVD if I had seen this like on a bargain bin, like a nice little $5 DVD pickup. Support Dave Bautista, my Filipino brother. But yeah, this movie, it's quite enjoyable, especially if you like those 2 actresses or actors, Brittney Snow and Dave Bautista. So it's an easy pickup.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both.
All right, guys. Well, we're coming up to our hour. Thank you guys for joining us. We always appreciate you guys. If you guys check out our show notes down below, we have all of our Amazon affiliate links. You're going to go shopping anyway. So, if you want to support us, do so.
And of course, we got our Facebook link down there. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us, to let us to give us some suggestions of themes in the future, or to make comments on the movies that we watch. And certainly, follow us, and that way you know every time we have a new episode post.
Yep. All right, guys. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out who does the theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on her album Music for Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.